All right, so I am back out in the shop. It is Saturday after Thanksgiving, and gonna spend a couple hours out here working on the camper. The goal today, I think, is to redo some of these corners, really all four corners, because I want to be able to put the jacks back on to be able to lift it up so I can get to the underside, check plumbing and stuff like that. So I think what I'm gonna do is just take these out, replace them with some 1x4s to give it just a little more width to hold these brackets. So previous owners put these made these brackets to hold the jack stands, and it's really good. I like having the plate underneath, a little more surface area to lift from. Overall, I like these mounting areas. So, but I do want a little bit more surface area to bolt those two. So I'm gonna try to rebuild these and see how that goes. The tricky part is, you got to be careful and not take too much away, because you take the wrong piece away and the whole thing's not going to collapse right now, but you just got to be careful. So let's see how this goes. Okay, quick update. So I have got the front two jacks mounted. Not too bad. Replaced. Let me go back over here. You can see I replaced some of the wood, some of the framing. Not really, it's just inserts. I'll do it a little bit better later. But I was getting ready to work on the back, on the two on the rear, and this is going to be a little more difficult. So all of this down here where the jack's mounted to, there were some metal plates in there. Basically, it is rotted. There's really no good way for me to mount these. I'm going to have to rebuild the corners first, and this is on both sides. You can't really see real well over there, but both sides are really going to have to be rebuilt first before I can put the jacks on, so I can't raise it up. Now, what I have learned is that I'm not worried about the roof falling down by taking out this corner, because it's being supported by the other side of the closet on the inside. So no worries there. My plan at the moment is to rebuild this corner, get that jack mounted, rebuild the other corner at another time. I'm not going to do that today because it's already almost 6 p.m. Had a lot going on today, so I didn't work on this a ton. But the plan is to rebuild this corner, then rebuild the other corner, then the jacks can go back on, and those will be pretty well ready to go, and we can move on to other stuff. So, yeah, you never know what you find when you start taking these things apart. That's what I'm learning. So, oh well. So I am out here working on the camper again today, this evening. It's actually the day after Christmas. We went and did a little bit of goofing around in town this afternoon, and but yeah, this evening kind of hanging out, and then decided to come out here and work on the camper. As you can see, I have finally gotten the roof completely off, and surprisingly, the roof is not nearly as bad as I thought it might be. There are a couple of spots on the edges and the corners that up on the roof that are going to need some repairs. Most of the roof is just fine though, so I'm going to have to decide, do I actually want to take the time to really replace a lot of that, or just replace what's absolutely necessary and move on from there. So now here's what I've learned though. The way these things are put together is really pretty, it's very interesting. So apparently they're kind of built from the bottom up, is what it looks like. All of the panels, all of the sides and the roof panels, they're all fixed from the inside. Okay, it kind of makes sense. You've got the framing on the outside, then you've got your insulation, then you've got your metal or your outside covering. So the inside panels are all affixed from the inside. What I figured out now is that the top is actually, if you can see here, this is the roof, the inside of the roof, and it is sandwiched between the framing on the roof and the framing of the side. So what that tells me is that this whole roof was put on last and then bolted down. Okay, so the idea that I'm running into now is, in order to properly replace pieces and do this right, what I need to do is essentially take the whole roof off, unbolt, unscrew all of this framing, and peel the roof off, salvaging it, you know, keeping it together. So I'm gonna have to get some help from Kyle, I'm sure. I know he'll be happy to do that. Take the roof off, and which will actually make it easier to repair what needs to be repaired. I can get it on the ground. I can put it all back together and repair it like it needs to be before putting it back on later. So once we take the roof off, then we can take the sides. We can repair the sides as they're needed, the back as it's needed. It's actually not that bad. What I was concerned about was this big front cab over piece. So let me get down here. As you can see, I have completely taken out the bed area, and this is about this is about to fall off. It's got a few places, but here's what's interesting about this. If we look at this framing here, so all of this framing would come out. There's a system here, and then the plywood that you lay on with your mattress sits on top of that. Okay, the framing in here is sandwiching the side panels. Okay. So what that tells me is that you peel the roof off, you can redo the side panels. You redo the side panels, and then I get to rebuild this. So this is like the last step in the whole process, which I'm kind of glad about, because I feel like it's going to be the most difficult step, but we'll see. I'm also worried about the bottom a little bit, but we'll get to that later. So peel the roof off. Set it to the side, repair it and set it to the side, and then we do the sides, and then we can do the back, or vice versa, whatever. The front looks pretty good. I'm not worried about any of that. The bottom, I'll touch on that for just a moment. The bottom here has some areas you can see, like right here, it's cracked. They tried to do some repairs. I'm not exactly sure how they did it yet. What I'm gonna have to do is raise it up so that I can actually get under there and see what they did. Not sure how I'm going to do that just yet. I've got the front two jacks mounted, and they're fine. They're actually holding it up so I could get on the roof and felt safe, but I don't have the back ones on yet. So we'll see how that works. I'm still thinking about that. But overall, I am still pretty excited about this. I think it's not going to be as difficult as maybe I thought, and hopefully not as expensive. We haven't spent any money on it yet, so I'm trying to come up with a good cost analysis and see if it's actually worth it, or if we should just save up a little bit and get another one. We'll see.